West Michigan. This is News 8 Football Frenzy.
You know, we had so much fun last night, we decided to do it again, but this time with games. Back-to-back frenzies. I'm Jack Doles.
I'm Marley Weirdo. We've got some incredible matchups on the first Friday of the season, and we're going to put you on the sidelines of up to 17 of those games.
And I'm Alec Giannakopoulos. Both West Michigan teams that won state championships open tonight. Those are two of our spotlights, but first, perhaps the biggest game in the state for week one.
Yeah, how about this for opening night? Rockford and Muskegon. This is a great spotlight game. 102 players on that Rockford roster. They are so big, and they strike first on their opening drive. That is Drake Irwin, 3-yard touchdown. It's 7-0. Muskegon trying to bounce right back, but the pass picked off by Luca Hearn. Stepped in front of that pass. Tony and East from Ferris State going, we have that guy on our recruiting list. They take advantage of that turnover as well. Irwin, beautiful 17-yard touchdown run. Rockford up 14-0. Then late in the second, a 3rd and 24. Irwin finds Camden Cruisinga, and he's going to cruise to the end zone. 71-yard touchdown. Rockford up 21-0 at that point. They were up 27-0 in the second half when Muskegon finally gets on the board. Nice run here by Jacob Price. Too little, too late. Rockford wins it, 27-7.
We'll take you to the Big House in Ann Arbor for our second spotlight game where Caledonia kicked off the new season against Romeo. Now, we don't see a lot of Romeo on the west side, but this is a traditional power. The last time the Bulldogs missed the playoffs was in 2003. Second quarter, 3rd down and 1. Brody Bester with the slant pass to Maddox Greenfield for the 20-yard touchdown. Scott's up 14-0. Under 5 minutes left in the first half. Caledonia and a 3rd down and long. Brody Bester to Greenfield again, this time for 38 yards. Caledonia took a 28-7 lead to the locker room. With 1:30 left in the fourth quarter, 2nd and 13, Caden Burrows, a 53-yard TD pass to Joey DeBaldo. Extra point was blocked to keep it tied at 28. And with 1 minute left in the fourth quarter, Brody Bester, 58-yard dime to Greenfield for the walk-off tutty. He had himself a day with 4. Final score of this one, Caledonia 35, Romeo 28.
Did you wake up and feel like I'm going to go score 4 TDs in the Big House today?
I mean, I just kind of was excited to play. We've been working really hard all summer, so it was really fun to, come out and play. And I've always loved Michigan, so Big House is kind of, gets me going.
He's just really good on closing on balls. Like, I thought that ball might have been overthrown there, and he went, we call that go get the money. He went and got the money, that's for sure.
West Catholic and Edwardsburg were originally scheduled to kick off the season last night, but they had to move it back a day to avoid playing in extreme heat. Turned out to be a very wise move. Talk about a clash of the Titans. Since 2014, Edwardsburg is averaging 11 wins a season. Since 2010, West Catholic with 7 state titles, but the Eddies were out first. Ezekiel Pegura gets it to Grant and Griffin, and they find themselves up 6-0. Falcons just had to warm up. Joey DeBurn picks off this short pass and takes it to the house for a pick 6, but has to high step his way in first. They're up 28-7. End of the second half, and there's some more Falcons coming your way. Alec Wickstrom rolls out, and he's right on the number for Carter Perry. It's 49-6 at this point, so West Catholic wins the clash of the Titans before it starts, 56-16.
Let's call this one a bonus spotlight. Defending champs in State 4, South Christian. Rivalry game against Grand Rapids Christian. Yeah, Carson Viss won the starting quarterback job. Beautiful throw here to Jake Vermas. 6-0, still in the first quarter. Same connection, Viss to Vermas. Viss threw 6 touchdown passes in his first start. And they were rolling at that point, 12-zip. And then the Eagles punt to start the second quarter. Vermas, who else going to handle that at midfield? And then streak to the end zone. A wild one out there. South Christian beats Christian 66-42.
2022 was a magical year for Forest Hill Central. The Rangers made it to the Division II state finals. They were on the road against Jenison. Pre-game Critter Barn festivities there that we saw earlier, but let's get to the action as Jenison was down 8-0. Eli Zeitman runs it in from 4 yards out, cuts the lead 8-6. It's all FHC after that. Mason McDonald drops back, hits Bendon Cargill in the end zone. for a 20-yard TD. 16-9 Rangers fourth quarter. McDonald gonna keep it himself, 4 yards untouched, and FHC wins it 37-9.
Let's head to Byron Center for the Bulldogs season opener against Battle Creek Central. Both teams went 7-3 last year. Speaking of 7, that's what Landon Tungate and Isaac Lee come together for. A 24-yard touchdown that gets the Dogs up 28-0. Fast forward a little bit to the next drive, and the big guys up front earned this touchdown. There's hardly any contact here for Tungate as he scores once more. It's 35-0. At the end of the second quarter now, Tungate fakes it and takes it himself to the house. Waiting on a final, but they were up 48-7 in the fourth quarter.
Well, about 15 miles south down 131, you'll find another big opening night matchup. Wayland and Hopkins. Vikings looking to extend their streak of 5 straight years in the playoffs. Wayland trying to improve on last year's 4-win improvement here. Cameron Bogart scoop and score. And Wayland had a 7-0 lead. Bogart's night was just getting started. Hopkins with the punt. Bogart fields it. And he sees some space, sheds a tackler, turns upfield, and he's gone. Is that fast motion? I think so, a little bit. Sped it up 13-0 at that point. Second half, Kahari Purifoy. He's going to go to the outside. Scored 2 touchdowns in that quarter, and Wayland wins at final score 40-7.
For the third straight year, Belding and Ionia kicked off the season against each other. Belding has won the last 2 in the first quarter, no score, but Anthony Savinsky changes that 18 yards all the way to the crib, diving in to get the Black Knights on the board. Ionia responds in the second quarter. Brennan Brownwell hits the wall. The offensive line gets him across the goal line. Ionia ties it at 8. But Belding would go on to win 22-11.
Legendary coach Ralph Munger's debut with Newyago as they take on Kent City will take you to the fourth quarter. Kent City on a long drive caps it off with Caden Hartzell, who just tailspins his way into the house. With a 2-point conversion, the Eagles are up 14-7. 4 minutes left, though, and Newyago has to respond. Aaron Garza carves his way inside. Newyago could either kick for a tie or go for 2 to win. And they risk it. They go for it, but are stuffed at the line. The risky play doesn't land, and Kent City wins a thriller. Final score there, 14-13.
All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, more highlights on the Frenzy. Welcome back to the Football Frenzy. We start the second half in Sparta. Spartans at Oakridge. Game was supposed to be played last night. Here it's Evan Miller. Dumps off a screen to Trevor Jones. Takes it into the red zone, and that'll set up the first score of the game. It's Jones, a 5-yard scamper, and Oakridge had an 8-0 lead. Still in the second. This time it's Bryson Stevenson gonna punch it in from 2 yards out. Oakridge up 14-0. They win it 27-15.
Game 11, another one that was supposed to be played last night. East Lansing at Portage Central. The Mustangs trying to bounce back from a rare season where they didn't make the playoffs. First quarter, Portage Central's Peyton Porter keeps it on the option and will be stopped just short of the end zone. The Mustangs will look to Carson Scherstein on the next try. He'll get the carry and dive in for the first score of the game. East Lansing trying to get on the board. Andrew Waters rolls back looking for B.J. Wyndham, but overthrows it there to Portage Central's Gavin Gruder for the interception as the Mustangs start the year with a win 17-7, your final.
Next up, Portage Northern at Vicksburg in a SWAC versus Wolverines conference mixer. Huskies leading in the second, and they kick off to Vicksburg. Zachary Klein. That was a mistake because he puts his track shoes on and takes it 96 yards for a kickoff return touchdown. That puts Vicksburg on the board. But Portage Northern was a force tonight. On fourth down, Braylon Amos keeps it on the option, weaves in and out of traffic, and moves the sticks up with a finish in the red zone. And that puts it right on Vicksburg's doorstep. They finish the fight there, and they go on to win big, 54-17.
We're on the sidelines in Lowell for game 13. Take 2 for the Red Arrows in Mattawan. Last night, they had to move everybody inside shelter. Fourth quarter, Jackson Ricepig takes it himself 13 yards. Lowell up 41-21. A few plays later, Ricepig gonna find the end zone again. This time a 29-yard touchdown to the quarterback keeper. And Lowell, solid opening night effort. They win it 56-28.
Beautiful opening night backdrop in Ravenna where the Bulldogs took on a Ford Field regular Beal City. It takes the Bulldogs until the second half to find the end zone. Blake Homily connects with Drew Mabrito, who makes the play there in the end zone. Ravenna trails 20-7, but the Aggies find the end zone quickly after. Jenison Latham scampers to the house. Conversion was no good, so they lead 26-7. Fourth quarter, Beal City puts the nail in the coffin after that. Jack Fussman connects with Latham again as Beal City wins it 32-14.
Next up, North Muskegon, where a couple playoff teams squared off in week 1. Norsemen taking on Pewamo, Westphalia. First quarter, Norsemen strike first. James Young on the move. He finds Ben Myers in his own zip code there for the touchdown. It's 7-0 North Muskegon. Second quarter, though, the Pirates erase the 0 from the scoreboard. Dylan May with the QB sneak up the middle. He'd find the end zone with the PAT is no good, so North Muskegon leads 7-6. And the Norsemen just end the half on a big note. Driving with seconds left. Look at that interception from A.J. Larkin after the tip ball. They would go ahead and take it as they win 17-14.
Earlier today, the players from Comstock Park were helping clean up winter storm damage in their community. Love to see that tonight. They were on a field trip to Tri-County. Not exactly a field trip, it was a business trip. First quarter, Chase Keller, 13-yard touchdown run. 2-point conversion makes it 8-0 Tri-County. Still in the first quarter, Tri-County strikes again. Owen Baronwald, this time a 71-yard touchdown, and the Vikings had a 16-7 lead. Comstock Park hangs in there. It's Easton Hood, 28-yard touchdown, is going to cut this lead to 16-13. We do not have a final in this one yet. Still looking for that, but love to see what the kids from Comstock Park did in their community tonight, and then go out and play a football game.
Game 17 takes us to Zeeland. It's the Chicks hosting Williamston. This was supposed to be the second game of a doubleheader last night, but we all know how Mother Nature had some plans for that one. Early in the first, Williamston back to pass, but Will Stayower is there with the sack, but Williamston doesn't flinch. Next time they get the ball, Zach Cribbs over the top to Max McCoon, makes the catch and rumbles up the sideline for an 80-yard score. Hornets up 7-0. McCoon is dangerous, though, on both sides of the ball. Watch him make the play here. Austin Kerr flings it deep. McCoon with the pick. He takes it into Zeeland East territory. Things look bleak, but Zeeland East, with a big second half, comes back and wins it 35-28 over Williamston.
Final game of the night was played at Rockford. East Grand Rapids still didn't have power, so they had to move their game against Cedar Springs to a neutral site. In the third quarter, there's no score, but we changed that real quick. Scotty Millman with a 31-yard pass to Gavin Buck, 7-0 Pioneers. We're still in the third, and this time it's EGR's Carson Thornton. 28-yard completion to Tommy Cavanaugh. Look at the catch in the end zone there. Those are the only two scores that would matter. 14-0 is your score as East Grand Rapids wins tonight.